Because we're free to on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 125. We are your home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism. Coming up this afternoon, National Service Personnel Association threatens strike over unpaid allowances.
Currently, we are yet to receive payment from January, February, and March. We are yet to be done with March, so let me say January and February.
More as they lament the delays causing untold hardship on graduates who depend on it. Also looming governance crisis as several government ministries are left without political heads after Parliament's decision not to approve President Akufo-Addo's nominees over anti-LGBTQ bill row.
It was a decision that was premised on false basis. Because indeed it is true that a rate had been filed and served on me the day before.
We have details plus a standoff between the executive and the legislature as the Attorney General writes to the Speaker of Parliament declaring he had no basis to have suspended the approval of President Akufo-Addo's nominees. Also this afternoon, 1 in 5 persons in the household population does not have enough drinking water. That's according to the Ghana Statistical Service as it highlights disparities in access to water on World Water Day. Plus, interest groups at the JoyNews National Dialogue on Free SHS express varying concerns and share experiences on quality of food, with the Ministry of Education committing to make interventions to deal with the challenge. We'll bring you more. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. We're also live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and X Spaces via JoyNews on TV. My personal handle is @Denana Aisha. Please do stay for details. The National Service Personnel Association is demanding the payment of 2 months outstanding allowances owed members serving in the public sector. They lament the delay in disbursement of allowances has become a norm, causing untold hardship on graduates who depend on the stipend for their survival. The association is demanding the immediate payment to avert an industrial action. Nana Boache Adam has more.
The National Service personnel in the public sector say they are struggling to meet basic needs as payments for their monthly allowances have delayed. These allowances sometimes delay for several months before they are paid to fresh graduates undertaking the 1-year mandatory service. Some personnel under the 2023-2024 batch say they have not received their allowances since January 2024. Prince Bwedu is worried about the delayed payment of allowances.
Currently, we are yet to receive payment from January, February, and March. We are yet to be done with March, so let me say January and February. It's not that good. Definitely, we need money to support ourselves in our, let me say, our day-to-day activities, transportation costs, and all this. You know, as graduates, definitely our parents will want to leave us to fend for ourselves, and we will tend to rely so much on these allowances. So if they are not there, definitely it affects our livelihoods, our day-to-day activities, as we use money as a commodity to doing all these activities. I am pleading to the government that they should be up and doing. They should have their game so that they will pay our allowances on time. They should pay our allowances on time.
Secretary of the National Service Personnel Association, Nana Edujemfi-Mensah, says the delayed payment of allowances has become a worry to members.
With the concerns about allowance, before this week, we had about 4 months unpaid allowances, but then from the beginning of this week, they have made payments for 2 months. And so now we are being owed 2 months allowances, which we feel that working for 4 months with no allowance is not something that we wish that it would happen again, in as much as it has already. And so we are telling the scheme and the government that this is unacceptable. Working for 4 months with no allowances is not something we can take. But then we also commend them for making the payment for the 2 months. So we are looking at what the future holds for the rest of the 2 months unpaid allowances.
Nana Jemfi says the association is on the negotiation table with government, but failure to comply with the agreement will warrant a strike.
And so, yes, we are still on negotiation table with management and the board of the scheme and all that, although the conversations has not really been positive, but then we are entreating all our people to stand by us. We know everything that they are going through. It is not as if we've turned a deaf ear to all that is happening. We are very much aware because we are all the national leaders, we are all service personnel ourselves. And so we feel every pain that they go through. And in the coming days, after probably our last but one meeting with the management and hopefully the board, we will announce our next action. That is, a lot of us are calling for a strike and subsequently a demonstration.
For JoyNews, Nana Bochidakwe Komasi.
Meanwhile, 2024 NDC flag bearer John Mahama has chastised government over the delayed payment of allowances for the National Service personnel.
Yawa by momente said National Service allowance. Bosum bedru ni chiada. And so and so they say by bosum enumnie National Service for you omoka. And yes, Sikano so doso. By 600 700 cedis a month.
For 5 months now, National Service personnel haven't been paid. It's not as if the amount is huge, just 700 Ghana cedis.
Abai ebe Bibia enkoye. Yesika sema say. Eka abubariye. A yentimintua. Na kakra nkodan so e de behwe omo ho se omo som omo my National Service 5 months de muntu omoka.
Away from that, following the JoyNews documentary Empty Place, a free SHS promise highlighting a major challenge of the availability and quality of food bedeviling the free SHS program, interest groups at the JoyNews National Dialogue have been expressing varying concerns and experiences, with the Ministry of Education committing to making swift interventions to deal with the challenge.
I'm more comfortable with citing my own examples, which is very verifiable, and it is nothing new. I can tell you, for example, that as I speak, for example, that apart from maize, I don't have anything now, currently, today, as I said, that will feed. Yes, I'm telling you for this, and I'm mentioning this. I'm not mentioning this school. I am mentioning my school. Last week, we received some food stuff, and we got maize so much. We didn't receive rice. So I'm telling you that until yesterday, when I had to fall on my PTA to give me some rice, I just came from Accra Sunday. I was in Accra, and I was trying to find out what's happening. The students have been eating. They will eat TZ in the afternoon and eat TZ in the evening. And don't forget that they will take cocoa because there is no Tom Brown. I don't have Tom Brown. I don't have chocolate. They will take cocoa in the morning. So it is maize soup. Now, one of the problems associated with this kind of thing is that, number one, the menu. There's nothing like menu in most of our schools now.
You cannot study if you are hungry. You cannot study if you are disturbed about what you are going to eat as your next meal. So that's an issue there, and they need that right nutrition so that they can grow well. Again, for girl children, you know, every month the menstruation, so they may lose some blood, and therefore they need their iron, the level of iron in their blood or their HBs to be high enough, and they will get these through the foods that they are eating at school. I mean, if they are in school, at school. So every meal that is offered to these children is an opportunity to put them up there, to be able to compete internationally.
Feeding per student per day was costed at 5.04 or so.
5.5 cities, 40 pesos
at the
per head.
Per head, 2017. And then, as at that time, the agreement was that 30% of that would be released to the schools as perishable. And I want to state here that the perishable include frozen items that we spoke about. And at that time, because of the price at the time and the cost of frozen items and other protein, it is possible to purchase them at that time. But over the period, the same amount is what is being remitted to schools, even if it comes at all. 1 CD, 56 pesos.
1 CD, 56 pesos
per student per day. That is 3 meals. That is what is being used to prepare 3 meals for them. He mentioned inflationary pressures because as government is talking about inflationary pressures, it has not transmitted into the release of funds to school.
There are periods in other schools where you go to the dining and you have hot water and soup served as lunch.
Hot water
and soup.
And soup.
Which means that come with your gari. No, I'm not going to mention that. No, definitely I won't mention that. Yes, we will solve it. That's why we are here. That's why we are here. No, I'm not laying claims.
No. Hold on. You have your time.
I would mention. No, I won't mention this. We're having a event. Yes.
You have your time. Please.
Nobody has complained.
Hold on. You have your time to respond.
I haven't said morning, afternoon, evening.
No. When young adolescents are not getting sufficient food and balanced diet, it is a problem. I also have a son who is in first year. He came home, and when I saw him, I mistook him for his younger brother. He had lost weight. Look, as parents, these are the realities, and we shouldn't beat about the bush. He is the second son. The first son, he is in university first year. He also went through similar. But clearly, the conditions seem to have deteriorated in terms of the quality of the food and the quantity of the food. And there's documented evidence to show, even if we can deny what I am saying because I'm a politician, parents would bear me out. This is why parents have had to develop all kinds of means and strategies. I know of parents who are paying women in the vicinity of the schools that their wards are attending to feed them just because they are not getting enough food or the food they are getting is of a very poor quality.
Okay. We are not there as leadership because there are no challenges. No, that's not why we are here. We are there to provide intervention, and particularly in situations where there are anomalies or challenges, we do intervene. So, I mean, I find it quite surprising anyway. But of course, first of all, the assurance is that... No, I'm coming. First of all, the assurance is that we are going to intervene to his school and even the entire enclave that he's described. But you see, there are 18 food items.
By when?
Immediately. It's of immediate effect.
And still on education, some final year junior high students in the Ashanti region have called on the government to ensure their teachers return to the classroom to avert any negative impact on academic activities. Most schools were compelled to close early as the teachers carried through the indefinite strike over delays in addressing the conditions of service. Some final year students in the Oforiko municipality who spoke to JoyNews say preparations for the upcoming examinations will be affected if their teachers remain on strike.
Yeah, we are going to write our BC, so it will affect us small. So we want to. They told us for 1 week, but I don't know if it's for 1 week or not. So they didn't teach us today. They are walking around. Some of them have left the school, so they have gone
home. Your headmaster penny better in school. Teacher need be in school no hand say. Your buy you busa some cost strike. Pacho you no the current cost strike. So you say you show money say be a watch number ba na so mumma. We
should be studying by now for our exams on Monday, but the teachers are on strike. Government should listen to their concerns.
Maybe I say school my basa. I basa near master na a gada and say HS for the course strike by all my own coffee, HS in tea. Yamla class na obabe chaya dia sana master kan strike ni den ka ye do to Ghana mpanyifo anim say esle omo ala the HS for ni hia no monye mom because strike no mo kono eno say nya effect so ye so next 2 weeks e better exams into say omo amba school no ma me chaya dia e bia topic na ya do so na exams e beba ma ye nim to sen komo ba na mo be che ya de nti ye se Ghana penifo se omo mo HS for no mo ti me che ya de enu de nya ye mboaye o emo ye dusua ne kwen o mo se kofi a iche ni bia nkan we betime asua de bai ye hi o my ideas omo de ne do so sen ye de no nti na betime abo nti se o mo se on be ba school abeche ya de
pastor say ya ncha ya de efri ne kona a time ne so a ebema addition ebe bobo ye so ama yentimi nsua ne ye pastor ebedu onom no ye be kasa question we kosua nti ebema yentimi nsua ne na we
it will affect us because we are getting soon to write our BSc and we didn't come and teach us. It will affect us.
Away from education, there's a looming governance crisis as several government ministries have been left without political leadership in what could cripple the effective management. This follows a decision of Parliament not to approve 24 ministers and deputy ministers designate following the anti-LGBTQ bill row. The president's decision not to accept the bill passed by the Parliament because of injunction applications is a basis for Parliament's reciprocal move. Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Kwekwa Sante has more.
Ministers of state and their deputies are the political heads of the various ministries and are in charge of political and policy directions and decisions. But the current political stalemate has left some critical ministries without substantive ministers or deputies. The Ministry of Tourism is currently without a substantive minister. The crucial Ministry for Sanitation and Water Resources is also without a substantive minister, even as government struggles to keep up with its promise to make Accra the cleanest city in Africa. The Environment Ministry has also been affected. The Gender Ministry, which was affected by Don Kwabena MP and the then Minister Sarah Adwoa-Safo's long absence, is also without a substantive minister. Perhaps the worst affected are the Ministries for Health and Information, which are both without substantive ministers and deputies. Both Health Minister designate Dr. Bernard Okuboy and his two nominated deputies are hanging in the balance, just as the Information Ministry, which Minister Kojo Ponkroma was transferred to Works and Housing, while his deputy Fatima Abubakar, proposed to be promoted to become substantive minister, has also not yet received parliamentary approval. The Greater Accra region is without a minister, just like the Oti region. Attorney General Godfred Yeboah-Dame says the Speaker, Alban Bagbin, had no basis to suspend the ministerial nominees' approval.
I think that was a decision that was premised on false basis. Because indeed it is true that a rate had been filed and served on me the day before. But it is certainly untrue and inaccurate for a contention to be made that the motion for injunction has been filed in the Afemapo case. And I read the statement that was read by the Right Honourable Speaker in Parliament yesterday. And he firmly premised his conclusion on the pendency of a motion for interlocutory injunction that has been filed by Mr. Afemapo. And that is false. Because indeed, as far as I'm concerned, the only process that has been filed in that action is a bare writ of summons. It is not even accompanied by a statement of claim or case. Neither has there been filed an application for interlocutory injunction. So it's just a writ of someone that has been filed without more. And clearly, there was no basis. It is correct that in his writ of summons, he actually stated as one of the reliefs an order of interlocutory injunction. But that is inconsequential. It is not an application or a motion for interlocutory injunction. It has no effect whatsoever. It is not binding on anybody. I have formally conducted a search in the register of the Supreme Court this morning. And I have the results of the search, and the results are quite clear.
But Roxanne Nelson Dafemipo, who filed the injunction application before the Supreme Court, has been firing back.
The injunction application was submitted to the registry of the court yesterday and filed. So if the Attorney General claims that he's conducted a search, I'll be willing to see the content of that search.
So you've answered one leg that is filed. Has it been served at least?
I am not a bailiff of the court. I don't serve process. It's the court that serves.
Okay.
So so it's the court that will establish that the process has been served or not. It's not parties who serve, and the AG knows. So.
And he says that his search revealed that at least it may not have been served and that the speaker may have been ill-advised for him to take that decision.
Hold on. What baffles me is that the Attorney General is a party in this matter. Then he comes on radio and makes very spurious comments. And I find it very offensive. He's the leader of the bar. He's the Attorney General of the Minister of Justice of the Republic of Ghana. He should stop this radio legal argument.
The majority have signaled they may recall Parliament for an emergency sitting to deal with the ministerial nominees and other outstanding government business.
Unheard of, never done. There's no precedent to that. So after today, I think the majority caucus or the majority leadership, we will sit, because normally the government business comes from us, and we'll be able to engage the speaker. And after we engage, then we'll see where we are going to go.
Do you have intentions to recall Parliament? I mean, to write to the Speaker that you want to recall Parliament?
It's within our rights, but at the moment we haven't gotten to make such a firm decision that we actually want to call back Parliament. But it is part of the options that we can be able to do.
As this political crisis lingers on, opinions differ on what impact this stalemate will have on the governance of the country. But what is clear, however, is that the decision-making in so many ministries will lag, which could affect the delivery of their mandate. Reporting for Joy News, Kwiku Asante.
Away from Parliament, findings from the 2022 Ghana Demographic and Health Survey indicate that 1 in every 5 persons in Ghana did not have enough drinking water in the month preceding the survey. In the northern region, which recorded the highest percentage, 1 in every 3 persons did not have adequate drinking water. Assets of a monthly release by the Ghana Statistical Service reads 1 in 5 persons in the household population does not have enough drinking water. It goes on to say that there are regions that follow the northern region, and if you see the charts here, this is the percentage of population that travel more than 30 minutes for water, and you can see that the northeast is the highest, followed by northern and upper west region. But if you look at the national picture, it stands at 6.50. Now, there is more that the survey is showing. 3 in every 5 persons in Ghana do not have water on their premises, and it stands at 59.9%. Now, the survey further states that 9 in every 10 persons, that's 89.8%, in the Savannah region did not have water on their premises, the highest recorded and 1.5 times higher than the national average. And nationally, if you look at the picture, 83.8% of the population had at least basic drinking water service defined as an improved water source with either water on the premises or a round-trip collection time of 30 minutes or less. And it ends by saying 8 in every 10 persons using unimproved water sources did not treat their water. That's a representation of 82.3%. Now, the Water Resources Commission is, however, worried Ghana is witnessing a concerning drop in water quality attributed to land use activities, prompting urgent calls for collaborative action. Authorities are stressing the need to address destructive land practices to protect the nation's dwindling water sources. There's more in this report.
Activities like illegal mining, fishing with harmful chemicals, and improper waste management are contributory factors to depreciation in water quality. Recent statistics reveal a significant decline in the quality of Ghana's water resources, depreciating from 86% to 58.8%. The Executive Director of Water Resource Commission, Dr. Bob Alpha, highlighted the reasons for this decline in water quality.
Ghana's water resources is actually going down in terms of the quality. We are having degradation of our water bodies due to land use activities as indicated in the morning. However, we also have some parts of Ghana where we have quite a lot of good water resources. If you look at the Volta Basin system, all the way from the northern part of Ghana to Akosombo Dam, the level of Galamsey activities there is very minimal. So for some areas, we have good water quality. In other areas, we have bad water quality. That's the situation now. In 2005, we were around 86. So we had very good water resources in terms of the percentage. Then Galamsey started, and then we started losing some of our rivers. The turbidity levels are very high. If we're able to fight Galamsey and waste disposals, I think we should be getting back to the same 86%. We are within the borderline. We are still a water secure country. However, we are classified as a water vulnerable country. We are very vulnerable when it comes to water resources. If we take the next steps to the left, then we will be going into a water insecure country. That's where we are.
He gave possible solutions which could help curb the situation, mentioning that proactive measures aimed at reversing this trend must be pursued by stakeholders to ensure a sustainable future for all.
We have to collaborate with other agencies. So we collaborate with the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. We collaborate with the EPA and other agencies to work together towards, eliminating this Galamsey menace. But it will take a while. It is a very difficult fight. It started long ago, but we want everybody to be on board for the fight against Galamsey. Bad fishing methods, people using chemical, for instance, to fish. Waste disposal is one of our biggest challenges. We all know how we dispose of our solid waste, and when it rains, all that is washed into our rivers. So we are tackling the waste disposal issues with the assemblies, the fish farming also with the Ministry of Fisheries, agriculture, farming along the river banks. When that happens, the fertilizer that we use can be washed into our rivers and lakes. So we are collaborating with all these agencies to ensure we minimize the impacts of all these activities.
World Water Day celebrates water and inspires action to tackle the global water crisis. A core focus of this day is to support the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goal 6, which is water and sanitation for all by 2030.
The Ashama Municipal Health Director, Patience Ami Mamata, has expressed worry over the negative impact of lead poisoning, especially in pregnant women and fetuses. Findings of a research carried out last year paints a gloomy picture of children under 5 years old having high levels of lead in their blood. Patience Ami Mamata says the situation is worrying.
The exposure to lead poisoning and its long-term impact on health has become an issue of worry for the Ghana Health Service and other stakeholders. Generally, lead in blood results in damaging of vital organs, leading to death in some cases. A research carried out in Ashaiman Municipality by Pure Earth, Ghana Health Service and other partners last year in children under 5 years revealed a rather disturbing situation. Out of 405 children, close to 60% had lead in their blood. Ashaiman Municipal Health Director Patience Ami Mamata says exposure to used car batteries, smelting, burning, among others, are said to be sources of lead poisoning.
Lead poisoning or lead in blood can lead to premature births, low birth weight. Lead poisoning affects the kidneys. Lead poisoning affects the neurological function of the child. In fact, mental development of the child is negatively affected by lead poisoning, among others. And the organs are not spared either. There's kidney failure, it affects the heart, among others.
Country Director for Pure Earth, Esmond Wisdom Kwanzaa, called for close collaboration among stakeholders to help mitigate the impact of lead poisoning.
Sources of lead pollution, based on our research, we are looking at the used lead acid batteries as one of the main sources. We are talking about the locally fabricated cooking wares that have a lot of sources of lead poisoning in Ghana. And then we're also talking about these cosmetics, the traditional eyeliners or the kajikaji. These have adverse effect on the maternal health in Ghana. What we are doing is collaborating with Ghana Health Service, EPA, and UNICEF. We put together an action plan to address the silence aggression of this menace of lead pollution and poisoning. And I'm happy to say that the ministry has shown a lot of determination, has shown a lot of resilience to collaborate with us to tackle these issues.
Meanwhile, Acting Director, Ghana National Cleaner Production Center of the Environmental Protection Agency, Letitia Abrakom Nyaba, says the agency is much concerned about lead poisoning. She believes proper recycling and handling methods will minimize risk.
So everything that concerns the management of lead and its recycling has been spelled out in the technical guidelines from the Environmental Protection Agency. This is to help the people who work with lead, to help the people who work around them. Some people don't work directly with the lead, but they work in the environment where the lead is being smelted and they get affected. Our fathers go to work and come back. They have worked with lead. Their mothers have never been to their working places, but they bring their clothes home, and typically the women will wash them. When the women wash them, they get contaminated by the lead. But we have to know how to go about it. It is very important so that we'll preserve our families, we will protect our children, we will protect the generations that are yet unborn.
In attendance were pregnant women, pupils, Ashaiman Municipal Assembly, the New Crystal Hospital brand ambassador Ikuma Mamazimbi, among others.
We're still live on Joy News Today. Sex maternal. Let's take a break on Joy News Today. We'll be back with more.
Welcome. Let's do some business stories with me, Emma Davis, Associate Professor in International Sustainable Development Law at the University of Northampton. Dr. Ebenezer Laye has highlighted the dangers of plastic mulch to food systems and health. Speaking to Joy Business at a stakeholder engagement event held by the university's Fresh Produce Impact Hub in Accra, Dr. Laye advocated for adopting sustainable mulching alternatives. He emphasized the importance of conserving the soil for future generations.
Ghana faces a significant challenge with plastic waste, generating an estimated 840,000 tons annually. To address this challenge, the University of Northampton's Fresh Produce Impact Hub held a stakeholder discussion to engage key players in exploring research solutions being developed by the university and its partners. Dr. Ebenezer Laye, Associate Professor in International Sustainable Development Law at the University of Northampton, participated in a discussion highlighting the importance of collaborative effort to develop environmentally friendly alternative solutions.
It will benefit immensely because it means that we can preserve the soil fertility on our farming lands. It means that we also help to protect our food security as well. It also means that we can ensure that future generations of farmers are able to plant on the same lands that we are able to plant on, at the moment. It also means that we address the issue of microplastics in the soil, which, of course, has its own implications in terms of the food chain. As well. And also there's economic benefits to this because the fact of the matter is that if our soil fertility is damaged and our food security is damaged, we need to spend, it means, more money on food, importing food from outside of the country. It applies pressure on our currency, which has inflationary effect as well.
Simon Derrick is the head of sustainability at Blue Skies Holdings.
Is to actually see how we can remove plastic mulch from farms. So if you don't know, plastic mulch is commonly used in pineapple farms, a thin layer of film which is applied to the soil. It helps to retain moisture, it helps to suppress weeds, but of course you're left with plastic. calling in a holistic mulch experiments, which is testing different materials, so the current plastic material against the coconut coir material, and then looking at that compared to a biodegradable material from CSIR in South Africa to see how they perform. We think this is the first of its kind project like this in the world, as far as we know. So we're very excited by this project.
According to Alistair Jumate, the corporate affairs manager at Blue Skies, the project will help tackle plastic pollution.
Having been in this industry for over 25 years, we've seen the damage and the impact of plastic use on our farms. So we thought that this is an avenue for us to join hands with equal minds, for us to find a more permanent solution to the rising challenge of plastic waste along the value chain in the agricultural sector. And for us, we think that this is the way forward for us to bring innovation into the area.
An animal welfare advocacy organization has raised concerns within the poultry industry about the increasing use of bird housing systems that restrict free movement, especially of egg-laying hens. According to the director of the Animal Welfare League, Daniel Abiliba, systems such as battery caging, unlike deep litter caging, limits the goal of producing organic products and harm the poultry products for consumption. Precious Semevo has more.
According to the Animal Welfare League, an animal welfare advocacy organization, one of the factors that also threatens the poultry industry in Ghana is the caging of birds, with the increasing importation of battery cages, especially for egg-laying hens. The system, unlike traditional methods or the new enriched cages, restricts hens' ability to perform natural behaviors and causes the birds to suffer high levels of stress and frustrations. Director of AWL, Daniel Abiliba, urged poultry farmers at a cage-free workshop in Sunyani to stick to the improved traditional housing systems for poultry farming to ensure safe products for consumption.
The poultry industry in Ghana has been predominantly produced in cage-free systems, but due to the ongoing ban of battery cages in other countries like some states in the US, UK, and the EU phasing out cages by 2030, it has become very easy for our local poultry farmers to have access to these battery cages. And that is why we think it, at this very initial point, to create this awareness among farmers to know that if they buy and transition into battery cages, they'll be harming the welfare of the birds, and then they'll be harming the very product that we give to consumers in the country. And our goal to produce organic products will be highly limited.
That'll be all for business. I am Emma Davis. For more business news, do log on to myjoyonline.com. Up next is Sport.
Time now to bring you sports on Joy News Today with me, Muftau Nabila Abdullah. In the next few hours, Ghana's Black Satellites will be coming up against Uganda in the final of the Under-20 football tournament that is part of the African Games 2023. Head coach of the team, Desmond Osef, says that his boys will go all out seeking to win the gold medal in this competition.
If you watch our previous games, you know that this is our system. On the ball, we play in a back three. Why? Because we want to dominate the midfield by playing 4 midfielders. And that's what we did today. And that's what we've been doing during the whole tournament. But, you know, playing with the wing backs 90 minutes, you know, is tiring. Especially, like I said, some of the boys are doing Ramadan. So we decided to go for the back four at the right time and solidify the midfield more with 2 holding midfielders. That gave us opportunity to play with double wingers, and I think it helped. And that's how KK gave the assist to our striker, Epson. It's funny, but I think the final is for them. I mean, for us coaches, we say, especially in my opinion, the training is for us and the match is for the players. We guide them in the games by motivating them, giving them the right inspiration to perform. But I think the job is done beforehand. in my opinion, because I said before, we started camping really on time. We touched on every facet of the game, tactical part and all that stuff. So the boys are well prepared. They are well prepared for this tournament. And like I said, they keep growing and their mentality is incredible. They are very hungry, very humble, despite the fact that we think that we have a lot of quality in the team, but still they're working really, really hard. So towards the final, it's a final. We're going to enjoy it.
Also, the Black Stars will be in action tonight against Nigeria, and head coach of the team, Otuado, has been previewing that game that will be happening later tonight.
Know what we can expect from them. They have really, really strong, experienced players. Even though I guess not all of them are there, but still they have very, very strong squads. We expect them to be very, very hard to break against the ball, but also with the ball, especially which you could see in the African Cup of Nations, they had really good offensive transitions. They have fast players at the wing, tall players up front, which can hold the ball no matter who comes, and really solid back chain. So it's going to be tough for sure, but surely we know what we can, and we know how to play against such a hold. And even though they went to the final, they showed also during some matches that they are vulnerable. So everything can happen. I know this, and just hope that we get a good start, and then we can. End this game as a winner team.
That's your sports for now. We do have more sports stories on myjoyonline.com. Up next is World News.
For our Ghana Man series, we threw a spotlight on the Agbaja dance, mainly performed by the Ewe people of the Volta region of Ghana. This rhythmic dance is often performed during social gatherings, ceremonies, and festive occasions, serving as a significant element of Ewe identity. The dance is deeply intertwined with Ewe music, which involves the harmonious collaboration of various traditional instruments. My colleague Kofi Hayford has more.
Today, we take a look at Agbaja. This traditional dance is performed by the Ewe tribe in the Volta region and is usually accompanied by various forms of traditional music. The Agbaja is a traditional dance that is performed at festivals and funerals. Ewe religious ceremonies are not left out. The Vuchocho, a slow stride in which the arms flap at the side with elbows extended, and a fast step in which the arms flap back and forth while extended downwards, is done by men and women with drums and rattles. How you end the dance communicates a lot. For example, a married person has a way of ending, and an unmarried person also has a unique way of ending to communicate his or her availability for friendship or relationship.
And on that Agbaja note, we end showbiz. That's how we wrap up the bulletin too this afternoon. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Log on to myjoyonline.com. There's more of the news and updates of all the developing stories.